Hi everyone, Matt LaMarsh here with Keller Williams First Atlanta and selling Sandy Springs. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Monday so far. It is July, I always have to pull it up,
The day
22nd, 22nd, 2019. So thank you guys so much for joining us on the podcast here. Super special guest for me today, but also someone that just inspires me to be a better realtor, a better leader. And so I'm honored to sit down today with Mike Ray, who is the team leader for my Keller Williams office, First Atlanta here. Based in Sandy Springs, so that's a nice little connection. You also live in Sandy Springs,
I do,
which is also good.
Yeah.
So, Mike, take it back for us. Give us your comic book story, beginnings, the humble start to all of this.
That's a really loud noise outside of my door. Thanks, Matt. You inspire me, so I will take that very kind compliment. So the comic book version, let's see, I was born and raised in the state of Florida. And so fast forward through growing up years, I am a University of Florida alumni.
It's the only thing I don't like about you. That's the only thing, which is...
Okay, right. As I tell people all the time, and I meant to say an alum, let me get my language right. Not everybody can be accepted to go to the University of Florida. Some people have to stay in the state of Georgia and go to Georgia. So it's my little thing. But yes, I'm a proud Florida Gator. Fast forward from there, got married, and then went to graduate school. Actually went to seminary, which is an interesting fact. I studied Christian education and organizational development in the megachurch world. And for the first half of my career, I built megachurch campuses. So that's what I did in different states. We were in North Carolina, Virginia, Texas, had a brief stint in Mississippi, and landed in Atlanta, the south side of Atlanta, actually down near Peachtree City, and helped a congregation there. And was making a transition after finishing a project there to a new career path. We were just ready to do something different. We were facing another move as a family, had just had our second child and really didn't want to move. So thought while I was getting ready to start a new degree program, I'd get my real estate license. This was in 2012. So I got my real estate license and never looked back. Best decision I ever made. I joined the Keller Williams Peachtree City office. I interviewed several places, picked Keller Williams for lots of different reasons. And I always tell people, top 5 best decisions in my life, for sure getting my real estate license and choosing Keller Williams would be in those top 2. So sold real estate from 2012 to 2015. I was on a real estate team with a business partner, and she and I, in Keller Williams lingo, we grew a millionaire real estate agent team. We netted and grossed $1 million for the first time in 2014, and transitioned to the leadership side of Keller Williams halfway through 2015 and led the Peachtree City office as their team leader from May 2015 to October 2017. And then coming up on my second anniversary here at the First Atlanta office here in Sandy Springs.
Awesome.
So that's kind of the fast.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
No, 3 minutes. That's great. Well
Good.
done.
Good.
So
that's probably more than anybody wants to know. But we'll give it to them.
But now when they see you out, they can tell your story as well.
They can say, "Go Gators."
No, don't ever say that. So very similar to me. It's one of the reasons I joined this office was because I felt like you as a leader, but also because of Keller Williams. I mean, there's a lot of different opportunities that kind of, came up over the last 6 months that I really, or in the first 6 months, I should say, of having me getting my license and kind of working through the next steps of that. That's what kind of stuck out to me was a lot of the same things for you. Right. So you obviously live in this area. A lot of people that live that listen to the podcast here live in this area. Although I will tell you, there's 20 people in Australia for some reason.
I love that.
Hey, if you're looking to move to the Atlanta area, I know a great
Matt
realtor.
LaMarsh.
Yeah,
He's
that's right. So tell us a little more about why Sandy Springs and why First Atlanta, and what
Sure.
really kind of pushed you in this direction.
So a couple of things. First Atlanta is the flagship office for the Keller Williams Southeast region, and that region within Keller Williams International, Tennessee, Alabama, and Georgia. And as the flagship office, there's just a great heritage, a great history in this office, and it was an extreme honor to be asked. We're the largest. Keller Williams have been the most productive year over year for many years, and so it's a nice. It's an extreme honor to be in such a great environment around so many amazing and productive people. So I saw it as an opportunity to continue on a heritage and a legacy of a great office with a great group of agents and take us to a new place, a new level of growth, a new level of productivity, and a changing real estate market as we go more and more to a very tech-enabled kind of platform. Keller Williams is helping to format and lead that charge in the industry. And so for me, it was just that opportunity to be a part of that experience. And I have zero regrets. Keller Williams was a great company as far as vision is concerned, is a great company as far as vision is concerned. And I saw that applied right here at the First Atlanta Sandy Springs office. From a personal standpoint, Sandy Springs was a great fit for my family. I have an age difference in my two kids. My wife and I have been married 26 years. We just waited a long time between kids. It wasn't our plan, but it's the way it worked out. So I have a 20-year-old and I have a 7-year-old, right? And so my 20-year-old has special needs, so he has a form of cerebral palsy, and there's just a lot more opportunities for him being in this part of Atlanta versus on the south side down in Peachtree City. So it's opened up a lot of different platforms for him. And my daughter is at Wesleyan over in Peachtree Corners. So, again, just great opportunities for our family to grow as well. So Sandy Springs was just a great fit for us. Great fit for us.
Very good. Well, I love what you said about being tech-enabled, too, because it's one of the other things that attracted me, not just to Keller Williams, but specifically to this office. Yeah. In fact, you may or may not remember when I first walked in here, I was like, so I kind of have this crazy idea about a video series and a podcast. And you were honestly one of the only ones to look at me and go, I love it. Let's do it, as opposed to a couple others that were like, we don't know if we want to attach our name to that. And it was like, but it's only going to help your name, I hope. But, and gain exposure and so on and so forth. I mean, obviously, I know the reach that this podcast now has, and it's really gaining some momentum now that even I believe there will be other agents that listen to this and go, man, maybe Keller Williams First Atlanta is the right move for me.
Sure, and it may be, and I'm always open to have those conversations. I think for people today, there is not a single transaction that we do in our lives that technology is not part of. And real estate, candidly, there's probably not just real estate, but probably several different types of careers or businesses that are behind from a technology standpoint. I think about some of the legal side of things, even some of the medical, even though it may seem very technologically based, they would probably tell you they're not as up to speed with some of the advances coming, especially from an artificial intelligence standpoint. And so I love that Keller Williams has taken a cutting edge approach and not just bolting on technology to what we do, because that broadens out our database to lots of different people. But we're really here about protecting our agents' businesses by creating an enclosed platform that's not just for our agents, but for the consumer, so that you can do all things within one platform with us. So it's a really exciting time, and I love getting to lead this office in that whole endeavor, because it is definitely coming like a freight train.
Whether we want it to or not,
right? Or not. Yeah, I mean, some people can limit technology all day long, and there are definitely parts of real estate that we're just going to go open doors and show houses and negotiate with vendors and all kind of things that we might do within that process. And technology has not been at the forefront, and it's fastly becoming more and more at the forefront. And so we've got to adapt and change. So I love that this is an office that's adapting and changing to things.
Yeah. Well, and I feel like it will also expose the weaker agents, and it will empower the more powerful agents, right? So obviously we now have 540
545 agents or so here in this office. Yeah.
Every week, I feel like
Yeah.
5 or
That's a
10.
great number of
Yeah,
folks.
no, it definitely
It's
is.
literally spread all across the metro. Being
Right.
the flagship office, people say, are all those people in Sandy Springs? Heavens, no. I mean, probably the minority of our agents work right here in Sandy Springs. We have people as far south as Tyrone, as far east as Augusta, and that whole area. We have folks, in Douglasville, as far north as Canton and Woodstock. I mean, you name it. They're really all over, all the way up into the mountains. And so Keller Williams First Atlanta sold in 54 counties last year. So we're literally spread out all across the metro area.
Yeah.
Which is fun.
Yeah, well, and it adds a lot of complexity to your job then.
Complexity, diversity, and not just culturally diverse, but there's diversity in types of business and contracts, from condos to townhomes to single-family homes to commercial, a little bit of everything. So it kind of, in my opinion, it makes every day an adventure, and it makes every day unique, and it's hard to get bored.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
If I'm bored, there's a problem. Right.
Exactly. Well, talk a little bit about, obviously as an agent, we're all independent contractors,
Sure.
but we are all responsible for our own business. But at the same time, you take a very, I'm going to say, active role in supporting us, but also trying to push us and trying to hold us accountable to not just our goals, but our team's goals and our business goals as a whole, and even just our personal goals, I feel like. And there's been several key players here in my office that have pulled me aside and said, look, you need to do this, or you need to change that. And out of a place of negativity or change. It's more of a, I see something in you type thing that they want to encourage, and they want, accountability is just the first word that kind of walks in my mind every time I walk in this office, because I'm kind of like quietly creeping around like someone's about to hold me accountable for something. But talk a little bit about maybe one of the challenges or maybe even one of the successes that you kind of see in 545 different people all running their own businesses, some of them on teams, some of them not, but just the challenge that comes along with trying to help that many people and in so many different ways.
I wish I could say that I had, plenty of time to sit down individually with every agent and help them invest in their business. What I will say is, for me, I keep an open door policy. And whereas, I may not have an hour or 2 hours, if I can find 15, 30 minutes, if it's a phone call that I can help somebody walk through a situation, I will make myself available for those. Obviously we all have boundaries in that, but it's also about me helping to develop a team around to help diversify myself into other people, from our broker team to my assistant team leader to even now having a director of innovation and technology to deal with some of the tech questions, because I'm not the smartest guy in the room around tech, but we can find much smarter people to help with that. So a lot of it is about how can I create extensions of me. I'm very clear with my leadership team of who I am and how I want us to operate. Nobody's perfect. We're all going to make mistakes, but they know my heart for our agents, and they know that my priority is to bring the highest level of service to our agents. And I think we work really hard to deliver on that. Again, there'll be days that we're going to drop the ball, that we're not going to do as well. But we're also going to be quick to apologize and say, hey, we messed that up. We need to kind of regroup on that, or what can we do to make that right? I think that matters. For me, the most important person in our organization is our individual agents. Whether they're on a team or whether they're just individual agents. But the agent at First Atlanta, to me, is the most important person in the room. And so whatever I can do to help grow their business, challenge them in their business, support them in their business. Sometimes they just need to vent. They may just need to come in and say, this is a really crappy situation. I get it. There's a lot of crappy situations out there. And sometimes just being that listening ear can make a huge difference to somebody. Sometimes it's not even about business, because life is messy and life gets in the way of business and business gets in the way of life, and it's hard to unwind those sometimes. So being a voice of reason and encouragement through those, I'm going to be there for people through that as well. We've got agents who've lost loved ones and agents who are battling cancer and other illnesses. For me, this is not just business.
Mm-hmm.
This is a place that we do life together. That's part of our culture, and I think that matters. And so, for me to be available as much as I can is a priority for me.
Fantastic. Well, one of the other things, and I've never really shared this with you, but you just kind of touched on something that I thought was pretty powerful, was, back in my corporate American days, one of the biggest things that I missed when I went out on my own was the camaraderie.
Yeah.
And to me, when I got out into my own business, it was very lonely. I had a pretty decent group of guys and girls that were in my industry that I could talk with, but they weren't right here.
Right.
And I tell my wife all the time, that's one of the things that I really missed about being in an office, was having that sense of camaraderie and community. And like you said, even a family, because like with the ALC, I feel like there are people in that group that are super high performers,
Right.
yet will pull you aside for 5 or 10 minutes and say, how's your business going?
How things going?
And to me, that's a big indicator of what has kind of gone on here, and what makes this place special in my mind is that it feels we're all in competition with all, but at the same time, the way I see it is that I'm in competition with myself. I'm trying to beat my last year's self. I'm trying to beat my last year's goal. And so talk a little bit about the development of the ALC, and for those that don't know, what that basically involves, but also the power that comes along with that for an agent in this office.
So the ALC is our Agent Leadership Council, and I actually have 2 leadership teams that I work with. One is staff, and all of those staff roles that go with that. And that's a different level of expectation because, being honest, they're being paid to be here, right? And so I can hold them to a different level of accountability. Our agent leadership team, once a year, I get to select a group of people to serve with me, for lack of a better term, as my board of directors. And they help me keep our office agent focused. They come out of the top 20% of production in the office. So these are busy agents who are choosing to set time aside to help me stay focused on the growth, productivity, profitability, and culture of our office. We're an open books financial company, so I have a finance team. We have technology teams. They're looking into every single part of our organization to make sure that we're bringing value to our agents to help you execute your business at a higher level. They teach, they train, they coach, they encourage me, they give me accountability, they can be a voice to a blind spot for me. I love their energy and their engagement in our office. That group can change year over year. Like I said, it just depends on how everybody's business is going. But fantastic group of folks who are as engaged in the office as I am. And they are a reflection of who I am, right? And so if I was disengaged, if I was unavailable, I've been in other KW offices. Obviously, I know leaders in other KW offices who don't have the same relationship with their ALC. I think that's just because that's just who they are as leaders, and they're a reflection of their leadership. For me, they know I'm highly engaged, so they're highly engaged, and I love that.
Yeah.
Great trainers, great teachers. They'll share with anybody at any time to help them in their business. Tips, tricks, do this, don't do that. That's what they're here for.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, so let's wrap this up. If there is an agent out there that wants to maybe get in touch with you or wants to have a deeper dive conversation about maybe joining First Atlanta, why don't we walk through what that looks like for you? What's the best way for them to get in touch with you?
They can either text me, call me, email me. It doesn't matter to me. My cell phone number, I answer it 7 days a week. It's 770-289-1273, 770-289-1273. And my email is pretty simple. It's Mike Ray 156. So MikeRay, Mike Ray, and then the number 156 at kw.com. And I'd be happy to visit with anybody about their real estate business. I do coaching a lot, so it may just be, hey, I'd love to have some insight about what you think about my business. Happy to share that.
Perfect.
Happy to share that.
Very good. Well, Mike, thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt.
I really appreciate it.
Call Matt LaMarsh. She's amazing.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, and thank you for taking me in.
Yes, sir.
I really appreciate it.
You're amazing.
I appreciate that so much. Thank you guys for listening. If you haven't yet subscribed, please, please, please hit that subscribe button. Follow us on Instagram at MLAMARSH, MLaMarsh. Also on Facebook. You can visit the website at mattlamarsh.com or sellingsandysprings.com. And you can follow Selling Sandy Springs on Instagram as well at Selling Sandy Springs. Thanks so much. Hope you guys have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye-bye.